Hey guys, Disorder Magic here, and you can see we got the two Planeswalker decks up, although, what might help is, there we go. That makes a little bit more sense, Vraska versus a Goblin. Anyway, a lot of people like to do reviews where they're like, oh hey, this deck plays this way, maybe even to the extent of, oh, you should or shouldn't mulligan this or whatever. And then, this one's slightly weaker, slightly stronger, whatever. And usually one deck does have an edge overall. I guess it's supposed to be like not a dual deck because they're not in the same package. You can buy them separately, so they're not supposed to work together. And honestly, the dual decks, usually one of those decks kind of has an edge too anyway. But you're supposed to modify them. I mean, these quite literally come with 2 packs in them, 2 boosters, and then you modify them. That's how they're supposed to work. But mirror matches have always been just horrific with these because it's basically luck unless there's a huge amount of play skill difference, or if they vastly upgraded their deck with the 2 boosters, which is also luck. So it's basically just like luck and luck. So I will say they are supposed to play each other. And I think Wizards alluded to that. They never really want to say it because historically they have been really, really one-sided. And oh my God, let me give you my review. Okay, this one right here, it's black, red pirates. Mid-sized creatures, not a whole lot of top end, but they got the removal, and they got a little bit of synergy. They got the Vanquisher's Banner, and some removal, some pretty good removal, actually. Ambush removal and regular removal. So, they got Repeating Barrage. So they actually got 6 removal spells. Oh, Impale, they got 7. Oh my God. And that one's recurring. So it's like, okay, they just, they have pirates. They might build on each other. You might get the one that boosts all pirates, and you might get the Vanquisher's Banner. Cool, and it's got a lot of early game. You don't have to ramp into it, so it's still clearly a pre-made deck, and it's still clearly like a $15 deck, but it's playable. Obviously, I don't know if you guys have played the Welcome decks. This is a step up from the Welcome decks, obviously, because it's still tribal synergy. And then this right here is the biggest disgrace to Magic I've ever seen in my entire life. I'll even throw in people who work for Wizards of the Coast in the running for that, and this still wins. So, yeah. There's really not even much to say past that. This deck will win 95% of the time if you don't count the boosters, and about 94% of the time if you do count the boosters. It's the most one-sided thing I've ever seen. I mean, everybody's reported to me on Twitter, and I didn't think it was true until I actually tried it, that this Angrath deck is like what you would build to beat the Vraska deck. It's like comical how bad this is. So let's just go over them and you'll see what I mean. So let's compare them. I was just going to run them down separately, but I thought, well, let's compare them piecewise here. So 27 creatures, 25 creatures. Okay. So they've got a Lightning Strike, Sure Strike, and let's see, Repeating Barrage and Impale. Actually, Angrath's Fury. So they actually have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 removals. Ouch. Let's see, and then this one has, believe it or not, Vraska's Scorn is not a removal. You would think it would kill a creature then summon her. Nope. Target opponent loses 4 life, you gain nothing. It's a 4-cost sorcery, and then you go get Vraska and don't cast her that turn. Wow. Oh my God, it's just, I literally took these out. That's all I'm going to say about it. Recover, who cares? That's not removal. A Moment of Craving, that's removal as long as it has 2 toughness, which I'll say about 40% of the time in a given game it will. So yeah, Bright Reprisal, I mean, it's terrible because it costs 5, but honestly, you'll probably get there. And right around then is when you'll really be losing. So, okay, it has 3, I guess, if you really want to be generous. Moment of Triumph, it's an ambush, it costs 1, it's an instant. This is just a damn good card. It's not a guaranteed kill, but I mean, 2 attack and 2 toughness, it pretty much is guaranteed removal. I mean, if I'm going to say +3 in First Strike for Sure Strike is, then I might as well include this. And that's about it. I mean, so you basically got 5 really dumpy, unreliable, or overcosted removal. And remember, their creatures cost less, but we'll get to that in a second. Let me just make sure that none of these remove something, because I thought maybe one of them did. I mean, I wouldn't really consider Death Touch. They don't have a Force Sacker. What this needed was a Chupacabra. They should have put 2 Chupacabras in here and 1 or 2 more removal, or a Flying Lifelinker. That's clearly what this needed. No. So that's it. So it's 9 versus 5, and even that's being generous. Wow, I mean, the Vraska Summoner should have killed a creature. That's clear as day. That's what it should have done. I don't know what they were thinking when they built this. So, let's look at the creatures. Okay, this is a 2/2 for 1. I mean, okay, he can't necessarily be the first one out on turn 1. Who cares? Then you got a 2/1 with Menace for 2, which is pretty good. Then you got a guy who will have Menace 100% of the time, a 3/3 with Menace for 3. He can't block, but who cares? I mean, he's the dedicated swing guy, obviously. Then you've got a 3/2 for 5, and then it's like raid, and then he deals 2 damage. I mean, it's up there. A lot of people would pull this, I would think, because it's so high on the curve, and it's 2 damage. What is that really going to remove? I mean, especially that late in the game, this is not a very good card. I mean, that's one of the anomalies. Then we got Swab Goblin, or as everybody calls it, Swag Goblin. It's just a 2/2 for 2, and it's a pirate, and the vampire one is the same. They have a 2/2 vampire vanilla. Then we got Swaggering Corsair. As long as you swung, he comes out as a 3/3. So 3/3 for 3, but not all the time. It's still not bad, I guess. It's not great. It's cheap, though. Then we got a 3 cost. Gets +2 as long as Angrath is out. So in other words, no. I mean, a 2/3 for 3, at least it's not double black. It's nothing special, but it's cheap, though. I mean, with all these, they all cost like nothing. I mean, we're talking 1, 2, 3 with 1 anomaly. So then we got Fathom Fleet Border. You lose a life unless you control a pirate. So, I mean, if you're already losing and they just like board wiped you or something, yeah, you bring him out, you're going to lose 2 life. But other than that, it's a 3/3 for 3. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, these all cost 2 or 3 pretty much. So keep that in mind. Then we got a Cutthroat. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls that was dealt damage. It's a 3/3 for 4, which is garbage. But it's like a really unreliable Chupacabra. So can I up like the removal count on this thing to like 13? I mean, I think that's where we're actually at, but whatever. Then we got basically a 2/1 for 1 because you never block with them. Then you got Darfleet Captain, which is a 2/2 for 2, and when it attacks, it gets +1 for every other pirate, so it's 2/2 plus. I mean, it's one of the strongest creatures in there, except for Neckbreaker, which gives attacking pirates, including himself, +2/+0. So basically, he's a 5/2 for 4, which is already pretty damn good, and it's only 4. So, I mean, the cost of this deck, you can tell it's really fast. Then you got this fucking potato, Gilded Sentry, 3/3 for 4. It's also in the other deck. Like, everybody was joking around. They're just like, yeah, let's just pull this. It's like, what is this even doing in here? It's a vanilla non-tribal 3/3 for 4. I think it's just there so that you have something to remove. Oh my god, yeah. So, and then Angrath. I mean, Angrath and Vraska, they're about the same, except Angrath is way better. So I don't really know why I said that. I'll leave that till the last. So we got creatures on the mind. Okay, let's check out these creatures. Oh god, Champion of Dusk. It's a 4/4 for 5, and you're gonna see that theme that they're pathetically weak for what they cost. And then when it enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of vampires you control. What are you supposed to do with that other than lose the game? Like, you're winning, you've got 7 vampires and I got 2 pirates, and then you drop this in so that you give them a chance to win? Like, what? You're not casting anything else that turn. This costs 5. What is this? Did they spell you gain life wrong and they accidentally flipped it for lose? This card's garbage. It's absolute trash. If it was a 6/6 for 5, I'd be like, oh, I get it. It's like a Master of Feast. No, this card is trash. Then we've got Paladin of Atonement, which I couldn't get out in a single game. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you lost life last turn, you put a 1/1 on him, but he already starts down 1. He's a 1/1 for 2, so... And if you're losing life, you're losing. But then when it dies, you gain life equal to its toughness. That's actually kind of cool. Because whether they dealt it damage or just outright killed it with a kill spell... I mean, he could get really big and out of control quickly. It's still a little shaky because it's kind of like Death's Shadow. You have to start losing to make use of this. So I don't like him, and he's already just a 1/1 for 2. So right out of the gate, you can't chump block, and he doesn't get good for a couple turns. Then we've got Bishop of the Bloodstained. It's a 3/3 for 5. And then when it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life for each vampire you control, and you don't gain shit, which is the number one problem with this just raging trash fire of a card. I mean, if you had 8 vampires on the field and then this is the 9th one and you dropped it in, you would have won anyway. I mean, if you're versing the Angrath deck, I don't know how the hell you got to that point, but you would have already won. You have too many vampires. If you have 1 vampire on the field, congratulations, they lost 2 life you probably weren't swinging this whole time, so it doesn't matter. And now you have a 3/3 that you paid 5 for. Great. Even if they said they lose 1 life and you gain it, it still would be a garbage card, except in Constructed where it would be like horrifically overpowered. So absolute waste of a card, absolute dumpster fire. So that's 3 garbage cards in a row. Let's see, Deathless Ancient. This one's a treat. It's a 4/4 for 6. So just let that sink in for a second. Flying almost makes up for it. And then tap 3 untapped vampires you control. Doesn't have to be sorcery speed. And return Deathless Ancient. Oh god, I read this wrong the first time. This is even worse than I thought. Return this shitty card from your graveyard to your hand, not any other vampire. Wow. So chump block with it and then waste your entire next turn bringing him back. And he doesn't do anything when he comes in. Just waste of a slot in this deck. Next up, so we're 0 for 4, guys. Dusk Legion Zealot. It's a 1/1 for 2, so it's garbage. And when it enters battlefield, you draw a card and lose 1 life. They are obsessed with you losing life and not getting it back. Have you guys seen a life linker yet? Because I haven't. Oh my god, this deck is... What were they thinking? This deck literally does nothing. It just sits there and loses. Oh my god, it gets worse, guys. It actually gets worse. I am not kidding. If you haven't experienced the fresh hell that it is playing this just flaming pile of shit, I don't know how you managed to dodge it. I mean, I guess just nobody was interested. None of your friends were like, cool, let's do it. And if they do, grab the Angrath deck. And nobody's going to have any fun because you won't have a challenge and they won't have a chance. So, oh boy. I mean, you get a card, so there's your tribal boost, but the tribal boost is +1 to all vampires. That's all you, except for this guy that kills you. So why do I want this on my battlefield? I don't. And why do I want to lose 1 life? I don't. Queen's Bay Soldier, 2/2 for 2 vanilla. Wonderful. That is honestly, that's the only playable card I've seen so far. And it's a vanilla. Oh my god. Why? Sky March Bloodletter. You ready for this one? Holy shit, it enters the battlefield and target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It's like they're vampires or something. Holy shit, I almost had a stroke when I read this. And there's 2 of them. Oh my god. Too bad a 2/2 won't stop a fucking thing in the other deck. So it's flying, it's 2/2. If you're swinging with 2 in the air and they're counter swinging for 9 with their pirates, you ain't gonna win shit. So he gets to recover 1 life that you already lost by losing to the fucking pirate deck, and then sit there and chump block once. Wonderful. Vampire Champion. A Death Toucher that's a 3/3 that costs 4. Did you notice that virtually every creature, even without boosting in that other deck, does 3 damage? So the Death Touch does literally nothing. Not 1 single fucking thing. And there's 4 of them. You can't deal damage. This whole thing, you can't deal damage with any of these. Compared to their mana cost, they're basically blue creatures. I mean, it's just trash. It's absolute trash. Vicious Conquistador. Holy fuck, they actually included a card that's playable. A 1/2 for 1 on tribal, and whenever it attacks, each opponent loses 1 life. This is a fantastic card. It's amazing. I would put this in my standard deck. And you get 1 of them because fuck you. Vraska's Conquistador. Whenever it attacks or blocks, if you control a Vraska, so in other words, no, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. It's got 1 toughness, they're just going to chump it, but there's 3 of them, so if you had a Vraska out, you're going to win. The problem is, if you had a Vraska out, you're already going to win. So what the hell's the point? Okay, so it's a 2/1 for 2. I mean, that's not as good as the 2/2 for 2. And it does nothing 99% of the time. So that's shit. Exultant Sky Marcher, a flying 2/3. So once again, every fucking pirate in the other deck basically will kill this. And you won't be able to counter swing for 2 when they're swinging for 3. Just simple math, and you only get 1 of it, and it's double white. This is garbage. Famished Paladin. Oh god, this fucking card. It's a 3/3 for 2. Whoa, holy shit, but hold the confetti. Famished Paladin doesn't untap. Whenever you gain life, untap. Have you seen, I think it's 1 card so far that gained life. Oh, 2 actually, but you have to have Vrask out, in which case, who cares, you have Vrask out. So you get to block with these for the rest of the game and you don't get to swing. And this is the only creature with an attack power higher than, or I'd say even equal to its mana cost, with 2 exceptions. It's fucking pathetic. Inspiring Cleric. Here we go, guys. A 3/2 vanilla for 3, except it gains 4 life. Wow, that'll make up for 1/2 of 1 attack by the time this comes out. Because remember, the pirates start at like 2 and 3, mostly 3, and they have Menace, and then on top of it, they get bigger when they get the boost spells. And I think there's only 2 boosters in there. Oh, except for Sure Strike, but that's ambush. That's like removal. But there's 2 boosters, so if they get them out, you don't stand a chance in hell. And if they don't get them out, you still don't have a chance in hell because nothing in this deck has 4 toughness so far. It's built to lose to the other deck. I don't understand this. If 4 life is nothing. I mean, it'll untap your Famished. Great. You think these are coming out in the same time? 60 card deck, 2 and 2? It's about an 8% chance. Skyblade of the Legion, a flying 1/3 for 2 without vigilance. What are you going to do? Hit him 20 times and not block? All right, so that's shit. Legion Lieutenant, other vampires, not including this piece of shit, get +1/+1. Well, hallelujah, and it's a 2/2. You might have noticed that their version of this gives itself a +2. It's +2, and it gives itself a +2. I gotta mention that one twice. This piece of shit doesn't even boost itself. I mean, yeah, it costs 2, but there's 1 of it. The chances of that showing up in your opening hand is probably 20% or less. I don't think I've ever done that on the hypergeometric calculation because I don't put 1 of anything in my deck. Oh, this deck would lose if it had 4 of those. Let me put it that way. And Gilded Sentinel, the savior of the deck, a 3/3 non-tribal for 4. There is not 1 acceptable creature. Oh wait, no, there's 1. I don't remember which one it was, but there is just shit. This whole entire creature section is shit. I mean, let's go back because you might have forgotten. 2/2 for 1, 2/1 menace for 2, 3/3 for 3, 3/2 for 5, and it removes something. 2/2 for 2. 2/2 for 3, but it's really a 3/3 for 3. Then we got a 2/3 for 3 that might go up to 4. Then we've got a 3/3 for 3. Then we've got a 3/3 for 4. Then we've got a 2/1 for 1, let's be honest. And then we've got a, 3/3 plus, we'll say. Let's say each other pirate. He's never going to be out on the battlefield alone. So basically a 5/5 for 2. And then we've got a 5/2 for 4. And a 3/3 for 4. So, I mean, a couple of them have 2 attack, but I'd say more than half of them have 3. And let's see, what are the toughnesses? Okay, 4, wonderful, but you play this and you kill yourself. That's 1. That's 3, so he'd die. 4, but you're never going to get it out, because it costs 6. This is 1, so he's dead. 2, she's dead. 2, he's dead. 3, he's dead. 2, he's dead. 1, he's dead. 3, he's dead. 3, he's dead and probably tapped. 2, she's dead. And 3. I don't know what gender that is, but they're dead. Then they're dead. And he's dead. So if they get out anything from their deck, you lose. Because they'll just swing and you either chump block every turn. And honestly, with Sure Strike, you probably won't even take the damn creature with you. And then if you finally get out like something big enough, they'll probably just Lightning Strike it, Impale it. Repeating Barrage. And by the way, Repeating Barrage, not only do they have like double the amount of removal spells as you, which keep in mind they already have better creatures, but you can cast this over and over and over and over and over. I mean, it's insanely expensive, but this is basically Form of the Dragon. I mean, it's like a really shitty version of it, but whatever. And then Vanquisher's Banner, you name pirates, they all get +1/+1, and whenever you cast one, you draw a card. They could have put 4 of them in here. It wouldn't have been good enough. 4 Legion Lieutenants and 4 Vanquisher's Banners. Maybe you've got a chance. But here's the problem. No matter what they drop out, you don't have an answer to it. Because this won't kill half the shit in their deck. This costs 5. And this is very situational. And you got to hope that they don't also have a Sure Strike. Or anything else. A lightning, like anything. And keep in mind, they have double the removal and ambush that you do. So Maybe the Planeswalker evens it out. Let's see. Angrath. 1 damage to each creature, which actually kills quite a bit of stuff in that deck, and each opponent. So you take 1, and that's it. So it's like, okay, I mean, it messes with your blocking assignments, whatever. I mean, it's not that great. And then -3, return target pirate from your graveyard directly to the fucking battlefield. What the fuck? Okay, so that's fair, considering they have twice the amount of removal that you do. And then -11, destroy all creatures target player. Just fucking win the game. I'm not gonna fucking read that. Vraska, what does she do? She's got to be better, right? Because his whole deck is a flaming pile of shit. Let's see. She costs 6. She comes out with 5. He is 6 for 5. Okay, cool. We're tied, right? Creatures you control get +1 attack and +0 toughness until end of turn. Well, considering none of them have lifelink and none of them have first strike, you're not going to swing anyway. You're not going to swing into this. Okay, that's not a good idea. This does nothing. It does absolutely fucking nothing. Destroy target creature. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say that's bad, but you can use it 1 time. And that's it. And they're probably just going to bring it back. So, wonderful. And then the -10, which she will survive. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain death touch. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to an opponent, the player loses the game. Since you're going to, at every stage of the game, have less creatures on the battlefield than them, you cannot flood swing. It'll never be 5 vampires versus 4 blockers, and then, yay, I win. So you can only win if you have a flyer, and they don't have a response for it that turn, and they didn't already blow it up, and you weren't already forced to chump block with it. Probably to save Vraska. So she is useless. She's basically a 6-cost kill spell. Wow. So this entire deck, I would give it, I think I was generous saying it has a 5% win chance. The only thing that I would say is maybe vampires have more card support in the Rivals of Ixalan boosters and better removal, better cards than pirates. And I feel like that's probably true, but they could take their 2 booster packs and eat them, and then you could swap out 6 cards in this deck, and you'd still lose. I mean, if you swapped out 6 creatures for removal spells, you're down to about the same amount of removal spells that they have. I mean, like, this deck just simply cannot beat the pirate deck. It can't. Now, here's the problem, though. 24 lands. Neither of them need that much. The pirate deck should be... Honestly, I would just take out Angrath. I hate to say it, I would leave in Angrath's Fury because it's a good card, but I would take out Angrath and then take out the 5-cost Stormfleet and then just put in literally anything that's on color or a colorless. Absolutely anything. And then take out 2 lands. Or actually 3 lands. So I'd actually add like 6 cards into it. Or something like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 6 cards. So there is room for improvement. It's easy to do. And this one, I mean, flying lifelinkers? Is there even one? Like, what from Rivals would you put in here? The sack down to 4 power would be pretty good. +1, generate a vampire and give it lifelink? I mean, the creatures still aren't big enough. And they'll just remove that one. I mean, it's just whatever you put it on, they'll just remove it because they have twice the amount of removal as you do. So I'm at a loss. I can't name one single card that you could drop in, even multiple of, that would save this. Not from pirates. It's just so far gone and it's so garbage. You can't even play a game with this. So I'm hearing reports from everybody I asked. I said, did you play with it? Everybody who said yes is like, why is this even a thing? Did Wizards lose their fucking minds when they made these 2 decks? And I am right there with you because I played at the worst event I've ever played in about 5 years of playing Magic. The #1 single worst event ever. And I do believe the last one I described that way was the last Planeswalker event I went to, the Planeswalker Deck Challenge. So let that one sink in for you. Oh my God, I'm never going to one of these as long as I live. Wizards is so fucking stupid. They just don't know how to make any kind of deck that can play against another deck, apparently. All they needed in here was flying lifelinkers, flyers that can actually do some damage, way the fuck more life gain, some kind of whenever you gain life trigger. So they'd almost have to go back to BFZ for a vampire like that. And then on top of it, 2 more removal spells and 2 Chupacabras. So if they did all of that, we're talking like 4 flying lifelinkers, more powerful vampires, 2 Chupacabras, 2 outright kill spells. and then whatever the hell else I said, and honestly less lands, and then a better Vraska, then you'd be about equal to Angrath. Then it would stand a chance just to get it up to par with that one. It's disgusting. Just don't buy these products. Don't go to any kind of event with these. It is a waste of your time. It is just going to be the most one-sided pile of shit you've ever seen in your life. And even if you got to pick and you're like, cool, I watched Desolator's video, I'm going to pick Angrath, you could still get flooded. You could still pull complete and utter garbage, or have these people pull, God's gift to an opening hand where they're just right on curve 2, 3, 4, and then drop out the booster, and you're just so behind on creatures and you pull no removal that you just get stomped. It's extremely unlikely to happen, but I did see it. Actually, it wasn't me. I actually won that one. But oh my God. Nobody in the history of going to these, because I've gone to 3 of these events, has ever really had fun. They've never been what I would call even or fair. I mean, but this is 95%, 5%. This is just a disgrace to the game. It's a disgraceful garbage product. The only thing I could say about this one is it's easier to build this into a standard deck if you replace 75% of the cards. So yeah, and this one, I don't know, there's better pirate builds. Anything with treasure is better than this trash pile. So just stay away from these products. They're a joke, and it's just I'm at a loss for words for how the fuck this even came out. They obviously never play tested them against each other. That's all I'm going to say. So let me know about your shit-tacular event if you went to one of these, and I'll see you guys next disaster.